today's video, guys. I am back down at the beach, and unfortunately it's holiday week, so there's a few folk around, so that means Andy's going to be very self-conscious, and it's windy, so hopefully you can hear me fine. Again, I am out in the wind, but today for a reason, because today we're going to do some wave photography. Now, a good few years ago now, before I entered the realms of ICM photography, waves were kind of where I broke my duck. Is that the right terminology? Who knows? But basically I use waves to adapt my straight shooting style and just change it gently into a softer kind of setup. So that's basically what we're going to be doing today, is a bit of handheld wave photography, because the conditions are nice. The big winds of Storm Kira and Storm Dennis have gone, replaced by a more gentle 20 odd mile an hour winds, which you can probably hear. So that's basically, the waves aren't massive because we're on the northeast coast, so the North Sea, it isn't as violent as, say, the English Channel or the Atlantic coast, so it's a bit gentle. But what you get here, because there's miles and miles of uninterrupted landscape, the wind does whistle over the top, and those crashing, breaking waves, spray goes back out to sea when the wind's quite strong out the east. So that's what I'm hoping to use, just to create that nice effect of the spray blowing off into the sky. So that's what we're going to do. Probably going to shoot to convert to black and white. So yeah, let's get on with it, and let's be very self-conscious on the beach with lots of people watching. Alright then, well hopefully you can actually hear this, but it's quite a bit windier down here, actually on the shoreline, what it was in the dunes there. But basically, just going to run you through what I'm aiming for. I'm after some black and white semi-soft waves breaking, so we're not looking for like pinpoint accuracy on focus, pinpoint accuracy on freezing motion. It's all about just having that little bit of softness. Right, basically the trick for today is we need to get low, because we want, because the waves are so small, you know, we're not talking about 30-foot giant crashing breakers. We're talking about maybe it's a foot high, so absolutely tiny. Obviously as they break, the spray will enhance the height, which is kind of what we're after. So we're really just, we're needing to get as low as possible, and that means if we're going to get wet, we're going to get wet because our bellies are going to be on the floor. So you want to pick yourself a dryish spot on the beach. Around here we are pretty much near the shoreline, so I'm going to back up a little bit further, so at least it's had a chance for that surface water to drain through the sand a little bit, so I don't get absolutely soaked. So yeah, I'm going to get down on my belly, get as low as I can, shoot into the far distance, and just basically, I'm not shooting with a tripod or anything like that. I'm just going to hold the camera reasonably steady and let the waves do the movement. You know, I'm known for ICM photography, where I'm doing a lot of movement, whereas I'm not particularly bothered about the camera being totally still, because a little bit of natural movement will be helpful, but I am not looking to be wiggling or anything like that. Just natural, you know, breathing motion with the camera will be enough to soften it, as well as the movement of the waves themselves will soften the motion as well. So that's probably as clear as mud. let's do some shooting. So obviously one of the main points about coastal photography is safety. I'm on Bamburgh Beach, and anybody that's been here before, you know it's a pretty deep beach at low tide. Low tide is approaching. I think it's about 4 o'clock low tide. It's about 2:30 at the minute, so plenty of chance to staying well away from the actual shoreline. I'm going to be shooting with my 70-200 at 200mm, so I can get in as close to the waves as I can, but also retain that safety, so I'm not anywhere near getting a freak wave coming in and soaking us. So that is vitally, as my tripod blows away, it is pretty windy, so that is vitally important to do, to stay safe anywhere near the coast, whether you're on rocks or beaches. Now the waves aren't playing ball, it's all of a sudden kind of died down a little bit, which is kind of frustrating. Be patient. You know, they always mention the 7th wave is the erroneous one. So when you see a bit of a flourish, jump in, get on the floor and shoot. I think we're getting into it now. Seems to be a little bit of a flow. See, I'm pretty soaked now. Straight down the front. There's quite a bit of moisture under that sand, obviously, so be mindful of that. If you're really organised, you could bring down like a little mat to lie on. And also be careful what you're resting your camera on as well. Just realised you've got a load of water and a load of sand into a couple of buttons there. So my settings for today, basically you've got to assess the conditions that you're working in, but basically I'm shooting at 1/5 of a second, 1/4 of a second, up to, you know, a 1/6, around about that kind of region, an f-stop to balance it all out. I mean you could use whatever f-stop you want, but I like to use the kind of the middle for this type of stuff. I'm also using a 6-stop filter just to help be able to get that longer exposure. So if you're not using an ND filter, do use your aperture, your f22, and you know, way up into that kind of region to get that length of exposure that you need. You may find that you're doing this on a duller, overcast day, so obviously you just change your setup to suit, but look for that. Your important thing, again, as with my ICM photography, your important thing is your shutter speed, and just change everything else to suit to be able to achieve that shutter speed. Add in ND filters. I use the 6-stop. You might get away with a 3-stop and a smaller aperture, or you could, well, I was going to say you could use a 10-stop, but that would it would have to be a seriously bright, sunny Californian day, midday, lovely, you know, all that kind of stuff. So So just adjust your settings to suit the situation. So basically I've shot a few shots there. I'm not going to spend all day here taking loads of images. I'm only looking for a handful just to give you an impression. I've done better in the past, so I'll show you my old work, which was better quality. But basically, camera onto continuous shooting mode, as fast as what the continuous shooting will do. So you can just hold your shutter button down and go. Focus on the wave, and if your camera's got it, a continuous focus mode as well. That should help do, get your shots, and just try to hold the camera as steady as possible. What you can do instead, I'm shooting directly straight out to sea. What you could do is shoot at an angle, almost like across the shoreline, so you pick up more of the breaking edge of the wave, which is maybe a bit more interesting than straight out, because straight out you're going to get that break in the middle of your shot, really. So there's other ways of doing it. So all you got to do is try these things, experiment. That's what photography is all about. Experiment as much as you want, and just keep on shooting. So again, along with my ICM work, that this type of photography, shooting waves, getting low, everything's going to be slightly different. So just shoot lots and lots, and hundreds of images, because when you go through them, you are going to find the odd one that comes out absolutely fantastically. I mean, if you want to look for other photographers that do tremendous sea photography, or have done in the past, you can look no further than Rachel Talabot, who does fantastic storm seas and general sea photography. Tripod's nearly away again. She does fantastic sea photography, known for her stormy sea images, or all our nymphs and legends related work. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And the one that got me going is a photographer called David Baker. I will put links in the description below. Absolutely fantastic photographer. He was doing a lot of work with the sea at the same time I was starting to play around with ICM photography. He produced a book called Sea Fever. Absolutely beautiful, stunning work, widely exhibited, absolutely tremendous, and really was a big inspiration for me on how I work with the coastline, with the sea. So I would recommend looking out his work from about, I think it would have been about 2013, when he was doing that kind of work. So do check him out for that. Absolutely fantastic. So hopefully that's given you something to try. Well, the next time you're down at the coast by a lovely beach and some nice breaking waves. I found it very, very constructive when I was in that period of looking to experiment with my photography as much as I could. It broke me away from everything being static, using tripods and all that kind of malarkey, and started me thinking about abstraction, pushing processing further, bring in some movement, whether that was letting the scene move around me, or get into the part where I move to capture the image. So it's something you can use on your journey towards whatever line of photography you're doing. I found it invaluable, so maybe it's worth a dabble when you're next out by the coastline. Just remember to be safe, otherwise you may well be sorry. So that'll do for today, just a quick little video from down here on the beach, shooting some waves. Hopefully that's been interesting for you, but maybe even inspirational for you to have a little bit of a go. Some basic instructions there for you to get a start with, and get out there, have a go, get low. Right, so that'll do for today, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. If you've enjoyed, please do hit the like button, leave a comment, that's always great as well. Let me know what you thought of the video, or if you're gonna have a go at this technique. Let us know, tag us in with any results as well. Always a pleasure to see what people are doing with my techniques and tuition, if you can call it that. So until the next one, keep hard, see ya.